You have the power to create your life, the reality you're experiencing, by stepping into your future self. Today on The Purpose Show, we are going to get into this, and I really want to bring together the teachings of two people that I really love learning from. Neville Goddard, he is no longer with us. His teachings are, they've been around for a while. And Abraham Hicks. If you're not familiar with either of those, I recommend you just go do your own research and dive in, because it's just really helpful, really uplifting, and really resonates with me and makes sense. So we're gonna talk about this. Let's first dive into the concept of acting as if. So this is something that both Goddard and Hicks teach, that basically is like your current state of being attracts your future. So if you are in a state of just feeling like, let me think of an example real quick, feeling like you're never going to be rich. You don't make the money in your household. Your partner's job is just, there's certain caps on it, and there's just not in the cards for you. And you're just like, that's what I accept, even though you have a great desire to become wealthy and, help. Maybe you are passionate about helping the orphans of the world, or helping people get food when they're hungry, or helping animals in the shelter. Even though you have this desire, you've just accepted, and you think all the time you're in a state of being that that is just not possible for you. And it's just not going to happen because of the limits on your actual life. You are going to be attracting that reality. You believe it, so you're acting as if, and so it is. Literally, logically, there may not be a way logically for you to become wealthy when your husband or partner is in this job, and maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, or you both work jobs that are just they're not wealth builders. But if you were to act as if you were to connect with that future version of yourself and act as if you already have that, you are wealthy, you are literally shifting the universe. You are shifting fucking molecules and what is happening and what is being formed. And you are attracting opportunities you never logically would have thought could happen. You don't know what can happen. Your partner could get an offer to another company that leads to something else. You could have that happen. Somebody could gift you money. You literally don't know, and you're limiting yourself. So I'm going to share an example from my own life semi-recently, when I was going through that time that ended up leading me to the Becoming Her journey and myself, and then developing the method. It was the hardest year of my life, for sure. It was incredibly difficult. I experienced a sexual assault. Brian and I decided after, a lot of years of talking about it, that we were going to shift our relationship and no longer be married. And that was a positive thing for us. But I was dealing with a lot of negative feedback from people that we told the news, and people just didn't understand. And it was really hard. I was moving across the country. I lost a group of friends. It was, and that I lost them in a very traumatic way. It was just really, really, really hard. And it affected me, of course. But instead of processing and taking my power and processing my emotions and shifting according to what I wanted to see, and taking the lessons I could have learned, and letting myself be sad, again, process your emotions. We're not about toxic positivity here, but instead of handling it that way, I instead handled it I let it ruin me. I let it hurt me. I let it just friggin' destroy me. And I acted as if it was all over. I acted as if I was ruined, that nobody trusted me. Nobody respected me anymore. Nobody understood me. I felt like I wasn't worth anything, because I started having just different effects in my business because of how I was acting. I was struggling with my self-worth because of the assault. I started acting as if all these negative things, and the spiral just kept going down, and it kept going down until I shifted how I was acting, how I was showing up, and acting as if this was my lesson, this was my gift, this is my comeback, and things started to spiral upward from there. So let's talk about what acting as if even really means. So, acting as if really comes from Neville Goddard's concept of living in the end. The idea that to create the life you desire, to become the version of yourself you desire, you must already feel as though, as he said, your wish is fulfilled. So this really requires embodying the emotions and beliefs of your future self right now. So going back to my first example, if you want to be a wealthy person and you want to give to different charities, you want to be a philanthropist, and you want to be funding all this work on your own, but you and your partner have jobs that are just not typically wealth building jobs. They're like, let's just say, 9 to 5s, like it's just, you feel like it's not in the cards for you. Well, if you start acting as if you are already that wealthy version of yourself and you're researching different things about the charities you care about, gathering information, visualizing that you live in the house you want to live in, that you're doing the work you want to do, and that you're doing the charity you want to do, that you're having these conversations with your partner that are the conversations you'll have when you're in that time of your life. And you really just, it's not about acting as if in terms of like, well, I can't act as if because I can't go do the things I would do when I have money because I don't have money. It's not that. It's an embodiment thing. So if you are carrying yourself in the energy that you will be in when you are wealthy, when you are a philanthropist, when you are doing all these things, that's how it works. It's one of the great paradoxes. It's the way the universe works. You have to be the version of yourself that has it. You have to do the things that version of you would do, and you have it. It's not have, do, be. It's be, do, have. So there's another teaching from Abraham Hicks that they talk about vibrational alignment. So basically this is to attract what you want, you have to match the frequency of that desire because of the law of abundance, also known as the law of attraction, like attracts like. So when you step into this higher version of yourself, you embody that version of yourself, you embody the energy of what you want, which according to both Goddard and Hicks, brings your desires to you. You don't chase it, you're attracting it. Now, let's get into the science of like why this works. The science, the energetics, the spirituality side of it, like why does this work? So from Goddard's perspective, imagination is the key to changing your life. I believe that your imagination is the most powerful tool in your toolkit. When you imagine and you act as if, you are imagining yourself in a new state of being, which eventually becomes reality because the subconscious mind is programmed by what you believe. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between imagination and reality. So when you are imagining this life, you're imagining these things going this way, your subconscious mind takes that as like, okay, got it. And it's going to reprogram to have the beliefs, to have the habits, to have the patterns of that version of you that has that life. And then you are becoming a vibrational match for what you want, and it is being magnetized to you. So that is what I don't chase, I attract means. And then we have Abraham Hicks' teachings on the law of attraction. Bring the concept of the vortex, right? Like where you act as if you are entering what they call the vortex, where basically everything you desire already exists, because according to quantum physics, everything is happening all at the same time, all the time, and you can just shift into different timelines. And there's a version of you that already has everything you desire. There's a version of you that already has that wealth and is already doing the philanthropy work and is already abundant, right? So aligning your thoughts and feelings with your future self draws those experiences from the vortex and into your current reality. I also want to touch on the science behind the reticular activating system, or the RAS, which I've talked about this before, but it filters your reality based on what you focus on. So you're taking in like millions and billions of bits of information all the time. Your subconscious mind doesn't miss anything. It hears everything, sees everything, notices everything, feels everything, okay? But because that's incredibly overwhelming, your reticular activating system is filtering the information, and in the way, how does it choose what to show you, what to draw out to, what to draw your attention to, what to filter out and what to filter in? It bases it on what is important to you and what you are focusing on right now. So this is why if you were to go and you were to think blue cars, blue cars, blue cars and you go for a drive, the blue cars are going to pop out. You're going to feel like there's a ton of blue cars. There were already blue cars there, but you're just noticing them now because you were focused on it. And your reticular activating system is like, this is really important right now. There's another blue car. So when we look at Goddard's and Hicks teachings on, and we look at the law of attraction and we look at the power of imagination, when you are focusing on something, your RAS is like, yes, this is important. So we're going to draw, it's going to draw your attention to things that make maybe a book that is going to get you to that desired state of being, or get you to that reality in your life. Or maybe it's a person you're going to meet there, maybe a store that you've walked by every day for the last 10 years, but you didn't notice it before. When you go in there and there's somebody in there that is, offers you a job, like you literally just don't know, but you are very powerful. And so when you tune into that power and you really decide to focus on what you want, you're going to notice things just magnetizing to you. And yes, some of it is the law of attraction, but some of it is just your reticular activating system. It was there all along. You just weren't noticing because you were focusing on the shitty things. And so you were getting more of that. So one of the questions when I talk about this that I get a lot is, how do you tap into your future self? Like, how do I know who that person is? So you can do guided visualizations. I offer these in the collective. Like, be very careful and aware. I always warn you guys of what kind of guided visualizations and guided audios or videos you take in on like YouTube and stuff, because people can be sick and they put in things that are really harmful and damaging, and you are accessing your subconscious mind. So you want to be really mindful and careful with that. But if you're in the collective, there's lots of guided visualizations and things like that I create that are specifically based in, the understanding of a subconscious mind, the programming we want, all of those things. But you can also like reflect and just think through like, using Neville Goddard's idea of the assuming state, like assuming that your wish is going to be fulfilled, assuming that this is going to be your reality. And then we can like use that to reflect and get in touch with who this version of ourselves is. So here's a question that you can write down and sit with. What emotions does your future self experience daily? Another one is, how does your future self see the world and see herself? And a third one is, what actions does she take? Creating your reality is not about not taking action. It's about taking inspired action, rooted in the future version of yourself, rooted in the energy of what you want, instead of being rooted in fear and lack and just repeating the same patterns that haven't gotten you nowhere good at least. So I want to encourage you, like, spend time imagining yourself in that state. Imagine the emotions that your future self experiences every day. Imagine how your future self sees the world and sees herself. Imagine yourself taking the actions that your future self takes. And what does that look like? And how does it feel? Focus on feeling good and raising your vibration to match the vibration of your future self. This is how you shift and become. Now, let's get a little practical. Practical tips to start acting as if. So going back to Goddard, his teachings on, feeling is the secret. You're feeling feeling that it's as if, feeling that it's happening, feeling the energy of being that version of yourself. And then Abraham Hicks' emphasis on taking inspired action. So let's merge those two ideas together and create a list of practical tips to act as if today. So I've got 5 things for you. Number 1, shift your habits. Act from the belief that what you want is already yours. So ask yourself, what would my future self do today? This is going back to Goddard's live from the end idea, acting as if. What would my future self do today? And do that. Break the cycle of doing the old things you used to do. I was recently having a conversation with my daughter, Bella. She's 15. And she was just talking to me about how she really wants to make new friends at school, and she doesn't understand like why it's so hard. And I was like, well, what do you typically do? Like, what have you been doing? She was like, well, I just kind of get like embarrassed. And so like at lunch to like feel less embarrassed and look busy, I just like pull my phone out and I'm like, okay, can you see how pulling your phone out might be sending the message that you don't want to talk to anyone? She was like, oh yeah, I just didn't really think about it that way. And I was like, okay, so if you want a different result, so people haven't been talking to you because you've been on your phone and you have had the energy of like fear and timidity and whatever, you've been kind of putting out a frequency of like, don't talk to me. So if you want to break that pattern, break that cycle, you need to create a shift in the pattern that you've been exhibiting. So maybe you set a rule that I'm not going to pull my phone out at lunch and I'm going to talk to somebody that's sitting at the table I'm sitting at. That's going to create like a break in the pattern. And so it will break the pattern of the results that she's getting. And it did. So you do that too. Shift your habits. What would your future self do today? Number 2, dress and present yourself as that person. So as Abraham Hicks says, the better you feel, the more you are allowing. So the better you feel, the more you are relaxed and allowing good into your life. So looking and feeling like your future self, that brings you into alignment with her. So stop just throwing shit on and running out the door. Like, how do you want to feel? What outfit do you feel best in? Wear more things like that. Put yourself together. Take the time to care for yourself. This is like one of my favorite things to talk about. And maybe we need to do another episode on this. Like, DM me if you want me to, because I don't want it to be boring. But one of my favorite things that I have done and continue to do is I take the things like I want to feel a certain way. I want my hair to be done. I want my skincare to be good. I want my skin to look good. I want my makeup to look good. I want my body to look good and feel good. And I want to look cute and put together every day. And I'm really busy and I have 4 kids and I'm running this business and I'm also in school right now. Like there's a lot going on. So I need all of those things to be very easy. So what are high maintenance things I can do to stay low maintenance? And I'm obsessed with this concept and I've really gotten to a place where I'm like mastering it. And it's easy for me to do my hair. I only have to style it like once or twice a week. My skincare regime is really easy. You don't need 50 skincare products to, age gracefully and have dewy, pretty skin that's clear. You don't need all those things. So like I found this line of skincare that's like sunscreen, but it's tinted. So it acts as makeup, but it's not. So I'm going makeup free and having SPF all over my skin, but it looks like I have makeup. I'm wearing it right now if you're watching the video. And so just little things that help me dress and present myself as the version of myself I desire to be, but it's not taking a ton of time. But also I deserve the time it takes. So finding that balance. Number 3, change your language. You need to be using one of the most powerful tools you have outside of your imagination is your words. You need to begin using your words and the way you speak as if your desires are already true. So Neville Goddard had a concept called inner conversations. So basically like, what is your inner voice? How are you thinking about yourself? What's going through your brain? What are you actually saying out of your throat, like audibly saying to people, or if you talk to yourself, like I do sometimes, like, what are you saying about your circumstances in your life? Shift your language to align with the life you want. So one thing that helps me with this is I don't like to feel like I'm lying or I'm bullshitting myself. So I will say like, gosh, it's going to be so good once I go on that trip. It's going to be so good once I have this many people in my membership. I'm so excited for this happening. So I'm like saying like, I am so excited that this is happening. It's not that it's already happened. It's happening. And that works too. Number 4, create your environment. So align your space with the energy of your future self. Keep it in harmony with the life that you're creating. So Goddard said, your world is your subconscious pushed out. So chaos within, chaos in the external. Peace within, peace in the external. So what's going on in your space? This can definitely be your home, but also like the kind of content you're taking in, the people you spend time with, the conversations you're having, like what is making up your environment? How can you align it with what you really want? If you want something to change, you can't just sit back and wait. You have to make shifts and change the pattern like we talked about a minute ago. And number 5, mindset shifts. So as Abraham Hicks teaches, focus on thoughts that feel good. feeling good is the goal. So whenever like doubts come up, shift to thoughts that are in alignment with your desires. So something that this helped me when I was going through, and even in different areas, I'm still like coming through it, still on the come up part of things. And I share this with my clients all the time. So when you're in a situation that you're just like, it's really hard for me to ignore this, like maybe you're financially broke or something really hard is happening. When you're in that state, something that I like to say, and when my mind goes there, or like I'm reminded about what a bad situation I'm in, or how much I dislike the situation or dislike the current reality, or how much stress is attached to it, when it comes up, I stop and I say, this is temporary. I am actively on my way to whatever you're on your way to. So it could be abundance, health, vitality, love, whatever. This is temporary. I am actively on my way to whatever the result is. And just remind yourself, like, yes, this is temporary. This is leftovers of the old thought patterns that I had, the old habits that I had. It is temporary, and I am actively on my way to the desired result. There are a lot of things that can really act as like a pitfall and really stump you in this process. And I feel like what I just said is probably the main one, but I want to get into a couple other ones, just like common things that can get in your way with this process and how to overcome them. So let's talk about when you feel doubt. Neville Goddard has this teaching that persistence in assuming, so persistently assuming the feeling of what you want being your reality, will overcome obstacles on its own. So it is so important to stick with this mindset that when you have doubts, shift yourself back to assuming it's on its way, assuming it's already happening for you, assuming it's coming, and being persistent with that. That is how you handle doubt. Abraham Hicks talks about the concept of contrast. So challenges are opportunities to refine what you want and shift towards a higher vibration. So whenever you face something that feels like a challenge or it's distasteful, look at it for what it really is, an opportunity to refine and get clearer on what you want and then shift to a higher vibration. And there are a lot of things that you can do to realign your vibration and shift. This includes EFT, or tapping, affirmations, redirecting your thoughts, going for a gratitude walk. There are lots of things that shift you. You're going to have to decide to make a change. You can't just stay in the same patterns. You can't be like, oh, this is just a lot. This is too much mental exertion. This is too much work. Like, it's not. It's not. It's a lot of work to stay broke. It's a lot of work to stay in the same patterns that you fucking hate. It's a lot of work to live a stagnant life that you're not proud of. So we have to take action. We have to shift. Okay. I want to point you guys to the collective. At the time that you're listening, it depends on when you're listening. If it's open or closed, I at least get on the wait list. Okay. There is deeper coaching in there. There is a massive library of resources, guided audios, advanced teaching on this kind of stuff, the laws of the universe, the law of assumption, all of these different things. I want to invite you in there. It is no commitment. So when it is open, you can go, you can sign up and you can try it out and you're not stuck in there. Also, if you haven't already taken in the Becoming Her Blueprint, this comes with a very temporary flash offer that will give you access into the collective at founding members pricing, which is $59 a month. If you've already seen this offer and it went away, that's it. I have everything programmed to where it is quite literally a flash offer, a one-time thing. And if you miss it, you miss it. But if you haven't watched the blueprint video and downloaded that PDF yet, it does come with this link to get in. So you can go to alikazaza.com/TPS links, go find the Becoming Her Blueprint and take that in and you'll get a link to the collective from there. That's a gift from me to you. If you haven't already passed it up, it is there waiting for you. Okay, my love, you are already living as your future self. You are now. Trust the process, feel it, fully step into it. I love you. I got you. If you want any other content that we talked about today or a deeper dive into any of this, please send me a DM on Instagram. Also, please spread the word about the Purpose Show. Let's get this show out to like every woman in the world. Take a screenshot, tag me. I will repost you if I see it, and just share like why this episode helped you. What was the takeaway? What did you like about it? Thank you for being a support for me. I love producing this show for free for you guys, and it really helps me when you share it and we spread the word so that more women are finding it, finding the message, getting into the collective. It's a domino effect, and I appreciate you so much. Love you, friends.